What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be trying to get the 7,000 point clear for the new burst mode stage here for the ROF Blues and their Dokkan event. So yeah, this is the team that we're running. It's going to be a copy paste of the team that we ran for the Resurrected Warriors mission clear for this, for the 6,000 points. We're going to attempt this same build here with the 7,000 point clear. I'm anticipating our big tanks will still be able to tank, and then these last two units on the team that didn't really do anything during the last run are actually going to be able to stack up quite decently with the the enemy's HP pool being much bigger and stuff. So here are the parameters that we have set. It's basically everything all maxed. Because of our team build, we were only able to do the 500 or less team costs, so we can't get any additional points there, unfortunately. But yeah, we've got all of this stuff selected, all of these maxed out. We skipped out on the challenge ones. We technically could add more there, but I think I want to see what the 7,000 point run looks like first before we consider adding anything like that. So that slider's maxed out. This one's maxed out for defense. The only one, oh, and then these challenge ones we left off as well. The only one we didn't max out here is the HP one. You're getting such a minimal increases as you add these, and you're literally adding 1,000% HP at a time. So if this is already going to be something where we're just doing little trickle damage here and there, and it takes a really long time to get through, that would just be made exponentially more gruesome by these thousands of extra HP, right? So for now, we're going to start the 7,000. If it seems easy enough to do the 7,000, then maybe off camera I'll do some more runs, we'll see, and I'll try and push it up higher. But for now, we're just going to aim strictly for the 7,000 runs, see how difficult this is, and then kind of go from there. I have seen a couple of murmurs in the community about people getting, a couple points above 7,000, which makes sense, because we could potentially add, there's, like, as you saw, a few different ways we could add, like, 10, 20, 30 points at a time, just to get some extra points on here. So for now, this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and jump in and see if we can get this thing cleared. So we'll go the key route. Always makes sense to get as much key as we can. I'm actually not going to hit the 1. That could be key, because anytime you get question mark spots on the key side of things, you get a lot of key instead of just, like, 1. But if that's an item, then it would be a total waste to use that 1. So I think I'm just going to go for the 6. Get the 6 out of the way, so it's one less big number on our board here. It's actually lining up decently. So we could go for 2 right now to get that 1 there, but I think I'm going to go for the 5, because the question mark is definitely going to give us more key. Okay. And then that way we have the 2 and the 1, so we could get all of this. Nice. That was pretty good. That was definitely not bad. We managed to clean up basically all of the key that was available there. So that's very good. Okay. How do we want our rotations? So we definitely want to keep Tech Ultimate Gohan on rotation. We also want to keep Bardock on rotation, because both of them are infinite stackers, so we need them to prioritize getting as many, attacks as they possibly can. So I think this is the way to go, I guess. Probably. Yeah, let's just do this. Alright, and then on the opposite rotation, it looks like we can keep Tech Cell as our slot 1, and then have Bardock stacking. And that's probably going to be the way our rotations stay. Maybe throughout the fight. And maybe there will come a point where, like, after the Majin Vegeta's transformations, we'll be able to depend on them in slot 1, because I'll have more damage reduction. Once the Bardock and or the Gohan stack enough, maybe they'll have enough defense, especially the Gohan with the guaranteed guard, right? He might get to a point where his defense is looking good enough that he can be in slot 1, because eventually we're probably going to need to replace Frieza as a slot 1, right? Perfect Cell will be fine the entire fight, but the Frieza will not be. So actually it will work out well if we get to a point where Gohan can be slot 1, then that means we can keep the Tech Vegeta on rotation with him, so they can both prioritize stacking, and then we can just float the Frieza at that point. But we're definitely going to need to give Tech Ultimate Gohan a couple of turns to get his defense up, so that he's looking a little bit less, liable to take damage. Okay, but so far so good. We're actually still doing more damage than I would have anticipated us to do on this first phase here. I know the first phase is considerably weaker than the ones we're going into. But yeah, it is basically a good sign that that wasn't, like, literally half a bar of damage between all those attacks or something, right? Then we'd be looking at a much different situation. I was like, oh, why is Cell's key like that? Are we on 1 leader skill? But it's the key subtraction ability got activated here. Oh, okay, this is actually not the greatest. I need to switch them. I'm going to do this early rather than late. I need to switch them because the Tech Ultimate Gohan here has Fierce Battle and Revival. And those 2 links are going to activate with Cell instead of him being completely linkless the whole time. So yeah, we're gonna swap the 2 positions of them, and this does work out well because we have the full power Frieza to be our slot 1 over there and keep us safe anyway. So yeah, we'll be fine doing that. But I think that that's going to be a necessity if we're going to have, you know, plan for like the next 20 turns of them being linked up or something. It's definitely going to make a difference over time having those extra links there. I think more of a difference than not rotating off our stackers to give them the most stacks possible, right? I think this is still probably the right way to go. It is a little bit of a bummer that none of those key we selected on the map went to Bardock, because he is kind of the most key-hungry unit on the team. He doesn't really have good links with anybody here that are going to help him get that 18 key, and we do want him getting that 18 key just to help him stack as much as he can, right? In fact, I need to remind myself, if he is one of those units that, like, stacks attack on one attack and defense on the other attack effect, I can't fully remember. So we'll glance at that in a moment when he comes back around onto rotation before we use him again. But it is nice seeing him get these onslaughts of multiple attacks at a time, right? That is definitely nice. Yeah, and the fact that they're all launching as supers is really good, too, because that is raising his defense, right? Okay. Perfect. And then, as talked about, we will go ahead and rotate off Ultimate Gohan here. And I guess this just allows us to preemptively kind of start stacking the Tech Vegito, which is nice. We may, depending how long it feels like it's taking us to get through this, we may ultimately have to tag switch the Vegito and start stacking his defense as well, just to make sure that he's safe for the end of the fight, right? Just because I don't know if the Vegito transformation alone is going to be able to fully one-turn the final phase. Probably not, I'm assuming. So if that is the case, then, you know, that means either before or after that active skill turn, we're still going to need him to be defensive. So we might have to stack him in preparation for that on this next phase or something. We'll see. We'll see. Not 100% sure what those things are going to be looking like yet. Okay. Is Ultimate Gohan going to get an additional here? That would be nice. Cool, cool. I suppose he can still even launch this super and then still have the enemy survive here. He's got such little HP, but we're doing such little damage. Okay, there we go. This should finish him off. Okay, so we're on to phase 2 of 3, I believe. Funny thing, I've literally recorded all my burst mode videos back to back to back here. And I can't even remember the, the stages. Okay, so there's 4 total. 4 stages total. This is the second of 4. Okay. Not too bad there, not too bad. Okay, well, this is a little bit sucky. It's just a little awkward that we have all these same named units here. But as long as we got Texel in slot 1, I think we're going to be alright. And they both did just transform. So now we've got lots of extra damage reduction. Let me just double check their passive really quick and make sure I remember how to get that extra damage reduction. Because they have the 33, and then, yeah, it's 6 orbs obtained gives them guard, which they like. And then as long as they get a rainbow key sphere, they're getting the extra DR. Okay. Cool. So I guess we can do this. No, because he's not going to get a super. I want to prioritize him being able to super. So let's do that. And then I'd like to not grab the tech orbs if possible. Yeah, this will work. So we get the rainbow and the 6. So he has his full passive active. He should be safe there at the back end. Now, hopefully, if there is going to be a super attack, it gets launched against Cell. Because, again, he will be the strongest against that. But I think either way, we're going to be okay. It's really, really nice that those Majin Vegetas have the ability to gain guard. That's probably something that we're going to need to pay active attention to a little bit later in the fight, especially because the final phase is going to be int. So that could be pretty detrimental for us if they miss out on a guard turn. Just the 66% damage reduction alone could not be enough if they get supered or something. Again, really, really hard to tell exactly how tough these bosses are going to be with all the burst mode sliders, because I can't see all of the information on a wiki page like I normally could. Because I do have the Dokkan event itself pulled up on the wiki, but it has all the normal Dokkan event stats, which are very, very low, right? Someone's got to make a burst mode calculator so that you can use all the burst mode parameters on a wiki page, and then it will spit out the new boss stats. That'd be really cool. But yeah, so we don't really know what we're looking at as far as like what we're actually facing off against, right? Okay, so we have active skills available, but it's probably not going to be the right time yet to use them. Yeah, obviously we're going to want to wait until a couple phases further. The reason I'm hesitating right now is I'm deciding which of these units to keep on rotation. Because we kind of do want to stack with both, right? Like, stacking with Bardock is going to be really important to get his defense to a number where it's not looking, like, scary. Okay, it looks like only the 18 key is what's stacking his defense. So because he's not getting, like, multiple per turn, we're probably going to need to keep him on rotation. I don't think we can afford this luxury. Because the thing is, if we keep stacking Vegeto, this would be really, really nice, because then that means once we get to the final phase, we can use the Vegeto transformation. He's going to be stronger, do a lot more damage for us, but I'm really scared about not prioritizing the attacks for Bardock right now, and then him just being such a fish that he just gets us KO'd, right? Because then it doesn't matter what kind of attack output we have. Alright, so yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and do this. We know that both those active skills are ones that we want to hold for later, so we will do just that. I guess we kind of have to get this. We really can't mess around and, like, not get the 18 key with Bardock. We already did that one time, his first appearance, he didn't get the 18 key, and we had him rotated off. So now we're 5 turns into the fight, and he still has not gotten a single attack raise or defense raise, which is not good, right? We definitely don't want that. So, we're just going to sacrifice the 18 key with Vegeto instead. Yeah, that's the one, like, part about this that's a little bit rough. I suppose we did get a little bit unlucky with our rotations, too. Maybe it would have been wise for us to swap the Cell and the Golden Frieza on turn 1, right at the beginning of the fight when we have the weakest enemy to deal with, and then we could have prioritized keeping our stackers there and stuff. Maybe that would have been the right idea. We probably would have taken a little bit of damage up front, but barring surviving that, then we'd be in a better position right now, right? Okay, well, there we go. We at least get the one, and then all of these we'll take. It's all extra, but it is going to be raising his attack. You know, which is obviously secondary to raising defense, but it is still going to be important to make sure that we are in this fight for a less amount of turns total. Less chances for us to get caught slipping, right? Okay, yeah, so it really will be nice if we can get one of these stackers to the point where they feel comfy in slot 1. Just so that we can replace Frieza and have all 3 of our stackers stay on rotation. That's going to be really, really nice. Hopefully by the 3rd fight at some point in there, we'll be able to do that. We are going to have a lot of type advantage in that 3rd fight, so that is something to consider. Should we put Gohan slot 1? I feel like we should. Because again, we want to prioritize stacking as much as we possibly can. Yeah, in fact, do I want to grab all of these just to get a big fat heal? I kind of do. There's still a lot of rainbow orbs. I think we're going to be able to get enough orbs for Cell. Should be fine. Let's see. He can still get a 7. That's not bad. It'll be good enough. Ooh, I forgot about the type disadvantage selection, though. That hurt a little bit. I don't even know how many times I've done that so far. But given how low our HP is, I've probably done that a few times. And just not even noticed or realized at all. Okay, yeah, this definitely works out better. It's looking like Tech Ultimate Gohan is kind of to that point now. So it's good that we rotated the Tech Vegeto around, because we're going to be able to... I think now is the time. We're going to be able to... Oh, in fact... if we're putting Tech Vegito here, then that means we have to rotate Cell to the other side. So I guess we'll have to keep Frieza slot 1 until we get Cell to the other side, and then Cell can replace Frieza. Yeah. Okay. Not too terrible, not too terrible. It is nice. I kind of wish that we had thought about that a second earlier and rotated Tech Cell already. Because had we already rotated him, we'd be in a little bit better of a position right now. Just because then we would get more potential attacks that we can do on this phase, because Tech Cell does so much damage that he's probably going to take a lot of that opportunity away from our stackers, right? Whereas if he was rotated off, it would have been one extra turn before he's back, and then better for the stackers. Okay, so for Bardock, it's not looking likely that we can get that 18 key again. We just keep getting really, really unlucky with the orb placements. Man, this is really rough. Yeah, there's nothing we can do. He's just not... He's, again, not going to get the 18 key. Wow, that's massively unfortunate. Okay, well, we need to make sure that he at least gets 2 orbs. Let's just do... Oh, God, this is so bad. Because we also need the selections for Majin Vegeta here. I mean, I guess not, because Majin Vegeta's not really being attacked at all. So it'll be fine. Yeah. That being considered, let's just do this. Grab these. We can get this. And then Majin Vegeta is just going to do nothing. Which, again, is perfectly fine, because we want to try to salvage as much of the enemy's HP for our stackers as possible. So it's kind of better to not let Majin Vegeta attack here. The only thing he's missing out on is he does have like a 3-turn or a 4-turn stat raise in his super attack effect. So that hurts him a little bit, but the fact that we're rotating him off is already going to hurt that anyway. So it's kind of fine. I think we'll be alright. If anything, we could just proc an additional super, and then I'd feel a little better. But this way, with him, you know, not getting a double super off, that's going to be less damage overall. Okay, yeah, so mad unfortunate about Bardock. That is definitely the biggest learning curve with this stage. If it looks like if any unit is going to be replaced on this team, it's probably Bardock. Because, you know, if we were able to replace him with someone else that doesn't need to stack, then we could just put Vegito there the whole time. So we'd have Tech Ultimate Gohan and Vegito stacking through 100% of the event, and Ultimate Gohan is showing that he is kind of perfectly capable of holding his own. Yeah, so it's really Bardock is the only one that I'm worried about. The problem is there just kind of isn't really a better option. Someone to replace him with, right? Okay, so this is looking like a solid turn for Cell, kind of no matter what. Let's keep our rotations like this, yeah. That way we have that revival link up for some extra key here. Shoot, those fell really bad. Okay, well, we can still get all these reds and stuff. I think we'll be alright with that. We can get those. That does get us a full heal. No, it wants to grab the purples. Ugh. It's another type disadvantage moment. Okay, well, we have to just eat it. We're going to take a little damage here, but that's fine. He really, really needs the orbs. Those rainbow orbs were super important for Cell, right? And getting all the type key spheres helps his stat line, so with that big onslaught of attacks back there, he's most likely going to be supered. We needed to make sure he was defensively ready for that. Oh, actually, I also kind of blundered a little bit there because I put Vegito in slot 1. There's an additional super that he doesn't get if he's in slot 1. He needs to be in 2 or 3 for that. So yeah, I guess if this ends up being a losing run, it's probably because I've already made 400 mistakes. And we could be in a much better scenario in a lot of ways. But that's alright. That's usually what the first run of these are, is to kind of feel out the difficulty of the stage, get used to the way the team is going to need to operate, right? like, one of the things, I mean, I guess I could have predicted it if I was, you know, a little bit more diligent with my team building and stuff. But just seeing how key hungry the Bardock is and how little key he's getting from links and stuff, he is really struggling in that department, right? But yeah, he's kind of hurt either way. I don't know, because like we could put him on the tech cell rotation, and then that would be a more surefire way to make sure he's getting that 18 key each turn. You know, just because we'd have a lot of orb changing going on. But if we were to prioritize the orbs for cell, a lot of the time we're not going to have a big chunk of orbs left for, you know, for Bardock as well. So that's kind of the trade-off there, right? Okay, how do we make it so that if we leave these for Majin Vegeta, it's just going to make us select the green ones, and then we're not going to get 6 orbs anyway. So I think I want to select these in chance that we could get the red orbs for him. There we go. So now we can still get 6 instead of only the 5. So we get the guard activated, which he already has type advantage, but still, it does help a little bit defensively, just in case. Might as well fully max him out since we have the opportunity to, and we don't have like, you know, Bardock coming up next turn that's going to need a lot of orbs or something that we have to prioritize, right? Okay, no additionals from Bardock. Did he have an entrance animation or something that wore off? I probably should have, like, read his kit in full, just to be certain about the way I'm operating him. Not a unit that I've used a ton, so I'm a little bit unfamiliar, but that's alright. At the very baseline, at least we got the defensive raise for the turn. That's the most important thing, right? Making sure that happens at all costs, since we're already, like, 2 raises behind about at the moment. Okay, so we do have a Dokkan attack that we're going to be launching this next turn as well. If we can avoid it, that would be nice. So we'll see if that's an option. We might be able to make something happen with that. Considering we've got so many key-hungry units on the team, it's possible that we can get our slot 1 to not have a super. Yeah, look at all that extra space there for super attacks, and then we can just depend on additional super attacks to do the rest of the damage for the turn, and be able to save the Dokkan attack for the next rotation. So, what we'll do is this. Actually, I just really want to make sure. Yeah, we'll do this for him. And then we can do this. Yeah, that'll work. And then Majin Vegeta can do that. Oh, that's actually perfect, because he's got the Rainbow Orbs, which is still going to give him the extra damage reduction, right? Okay, there we go. So now it's just going to be all additional supers that we're depending on for damage. But, oh, and I didn't even see if we actually procced the Dokkan Gauge, or if that was just an extra precaution. Oh, we didn't even proc it. We didn't proc it. So we could have just gone for normal super attacks here. But I think we're going to be okay either way. Yeah, Tech Ultimate Gohan is doing enough damage for us that it's going to be fine. Awesome. And that should do it. Oh, maybe not quite. Okay, well, good that it didn't do it, because now he gets an additional super, which is just 1 more attack raise for him, right? That's pretty good. But there we go. So now we are on to the final phase. And we have got access to that Dokkan attack coming in right away. Perfect. Well, not quite perfect. Oh my goodness. The orbs could have been a lot better. They could have been a lot better. Man, this is rough. Okay, let's take a quick moment to pause and look in this kit and see, because we are looking at a dangerously low number here. I'm a little bit scared about this. Frieza's damage reduction has mostly fallen off. He doesn't have a lot of defense, and we don't have a good orb selection for him. This is a very, very scary turn. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so that rolled off the additional and guard. Just has high chance to crit, some support here. When there's a transformation boost enemy, he's getting this, so we do have that. This enemy should be transformation boost for us. Damage reduction 30%. That's not enough. And then we just get this one attacking. Is there another superclass? There's no other superclass on this turn with him. So he doesn't even get that additional either. Wow. Okay. And then the active skill. I want to see if the active skill gives him any defense for the... It does. Okay. So I think we need to use that here. Let's go ahead and launch the active. We kind of have to. Especially because I do want to rotate the Frieza off. Which means we're going to put him there. I think there's a solid chance that he gets supered. And that would be kind of problematic, right? Really unfortunate that we're only getting the one Rainbow Key Sphere with Cell. That hurts him so much. Shoot, maybe we should switch these. Because one, it's going to give Cell Fierce Battle, which makes him hit harder on this Dokkan attack. Two, we can't get another 18 key with Bardock to get his defense up higher, which I still want for the subsequent turns coming up, right? So maybe we should do this, and then we could probably get the 18 key. It's just I'm a little bit worried about how much damage reduction has fallen off Frieza. We still can't get it? Oh my goodness, that's so annoying. It's a 17. Okay, well, is what it is. We don't really have any options to get around that. We already knew that Bardock was kind of the bane of the existence of being on this team in the first place, so... Is what it is what it is. Excuse me? Yeah, that was the result of Cell only getting, you know, one Rainbow Key Sphere. He didn't have nearly enough damage reduction there, and then also, you know, only getting a couple of orbs. He didn't have any stats either, so Cell can absolutely live that turn. That was just a pathetic performance. It was just a really, really bad RNG, and we need to also make sure to never have a turn where we have both of the extreme class units here with Bardock. That's going to be pretty bad. Okay, so we learned a little bit on that first run. We can definitely apply that knowledge here on the second run. And again, I really hope that some of these key land on Bardock. That's the person we needed on the most, is Bardock here. We didn't get nearly as lucky with the key selection as we did on the last run, and still none for Bardock. I'm tempted to just jump out and jump back in, because without being able to get him the 18 keys consistently, it's just going to be all bad. Okay, so we have two stackers here. Oh, they actually... It's just Saiyan Lineage. It is 2 key, though. Do we maybe want to try to leave them on rotation together and see if we can make them survive? Just having Tech Ultimate Gohan as a slot 1 the entire fight? I think I want to try that. I think that's going to be a strat here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and rotate Cell to the other side. Maybe we can make this work. Maybe. Okay, well, there we go. This is all. We're already off to a better start because he's gotten that 18 key, right? Which is not something that we had before. And then now, I guess with this setup, we're going to be able to keep Tech Vegito on rotation on the other side. And we can have, like, Golden Frieza. Well, it's going to be Tech Cell. That'll be the slot 1 there, right? Which, yeah, I guess with this strategy, we're not going to have... We're not going to have Revival up with the Tech Cell slot 1 and then the Gohan slot 2. But that's fine, because we're using Gohan as our other slot 1 anyway, so they kind of were forced to be split up like that. Okay, super attack out of the way, so we know we're safe for the turn. Alright, and then, awesome, he's going to get lots of attacks here, right? Because we've got the entrance animation, plus having a superclass ally on rotation, gives him those extra additionals, right? Perfect. Getting the early stat raises for damage in is nice. Okay, and then I guess at this point, it's kind of going to be a strat to... we really should be prioritizing our stackers. So anyone that's not a stacker should not be worrying about getting attacks. And of course I say that the very moment that we can't even control that. We're just kind of stuck here. Man, that's unfortunate. Okay. So yeah, we'll grab these orbs because we have no other choice. And then we can get all of these here. Actually, I kind of want to save a lot of those rainbows just to make sure that Bardock is going to be able to get an 18 on the next turn. And then, what does his passive look like? Free transform. What does he need to grab? 3 key spheres. And then a rainbow. Okay. 3+1. So if we do... Yeah, we can't forego the super attack for damage, so we'll just do this. We'll just do that. It's probably not smart to anyway, in case he gets supered there. Just so we'd take less. But yeah, this should be fine. And then now we've got Vegeta set up in slot 2, his 24-key super, so he's going to have the maximum amount of additional attacks here. Yeah, we're definitely looking a lot... This is a lot cleaner of a run so far. From the get-go, right? We're not making all kinds of sacrifices with the units that really can't afford it. And it looks like we'll still have enough damage to, or enough HP left on this boss to pretty comfortably get our stacks on the next turn as well. Let's just hope we don't get a million additionals here. Or critical hits or anything like that. Kind of a waste of the damage pool. That could be going to our stackers. There we go. Just the 1 attack, no crit. That's exactly what we wanted to see there. Okay, and again, no slot 0 attacks, so it's going to be just as easy for Ultimate Gohan to go slot 1 here. We can get the 6 orbs with the red on the left side, so we'll grab this. And then this. And now Bardock again is able to get his 18 key. What's his defense looking like? 330. Okay. So yeah, they're both going to be... raising considerably here. And then for Frieza, I think I should probably just select the 1 orb to do the least amount of damage possible, right? Because we only have 1 stacker on the next rotation, so if there's only a little bit of HP left, we'll just put the Tech Vegito slot 1 and end that turn. And then that would be a full extra turn of stacking that we got. Whereas we might miss out on that opportunity if Golden Frieza does too much damage here and then KOs or something. It's a possibility. I'm curious to see if we are able to keep this up and keep AGL Bardock 18 key supering every single turn. I'm curious to see the comparison between their 2 defense values. Like, obviously, Tech Ultimate Gohan's gonna get higher, but I'm curious how much, like, how far behind he'll actually fall, or if he'll be able to somewhat keep up and match the defense value. Because you got to remember that we're only getting the 1 great defense raise per turn, whereas Tech Ultimate Gohan is getting like 3 or 4. So that definitely makes a huge difference. It's just that their base stats are very different. So the 1 great defense raise from Bardock does a lot more than 1 great defense raise from Gohan, because his original stats are just so much lower. Okay, yeah, I think we operated things correctly. It's going to work out exactly as we anticipated, where Frieza's not going to quite take things out. And I assume if I had gotten an 18 key that was launching like 12 millions and guaranteed crits and stuff, then we would have probably fully finished this phase off. So, yeah, there we go. We played that perfectly. And then there we go, no slot 0 attacks, so we can just do this. Oh, dang it, I shouldn't have selected those int orbs. Whoops. Not a huge deal, though. At least we hope that's not going to be a huge deal. I don't think it will, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright. So they're probably just going to get the 1 attack, and then that'll be it. Oh, nice. Really lucky. Really lucky. He survived with 1 HP, so we get another one. Man, this run is going so incredibly better than the previous run that we did, right? This is kind of insane. Okay, so now we're getting the Tech Majin Vegeta transformation, which is good. Some extra defensive power ready to go here. Awesome, awesome. Okay, active skills on deck, but again, definitely going to save those for later. Don't need to bother using those now. Okay, yeah, so we can already see the disparity in their defense values. That Tech Ultimate Gohan is getting much, much better. Okay, let's see. We'll grab this. Gonna open up all of these physical orbs here, so Bardock is again chillin'. You love to see it. And then, yeah, for Tech Cell to get the right kind of orb changing, we'll do this. Oh no, we can't get the 6 orbs. Wait, what was it again? The 6 orbs just gives him guard. Yeah, 6 orbs gonna give him guard and some multiplicative stats, but we get multiplicative stats from 3 key spheres and the extra damage reduction from a rainbow. So as long as we do this, I think we'll be alright. Though, I'm gonna do this to not take more damage, because if we select int orbs, we're gonna take damage. So yeah, I think we'll do this instead. Oh wait, no. We need to do this to be able to fill up his gauge and get a super attack. Yeah. Because now I'm not going to play under those same parameters of trying to, like, you know, nerf the units that don't need to super to be able to give more of the HP bar priority to the stackers. I don't want to do that anymore, just because now the stage is going to start hitting a little harder, and I don't want to accidentally nerf a unit that didn't get their defensive capabilities from supering or something, and then they just get one shot by a super. That would be really bad. Though now we know we don't have to worry about that on this turn, because that was a slot 0 super that we saw launched, so we are perfectly fine. And the fact that Tech Ultimate Gohan is already capable of tanking the slot 1 supers is really nice, because obviously the damage is going to go up a little bit more on these next couple of phases, but so is our defense, right? And he's already tanking for 100k. It'll be a pretty short amount of time before we're at double digits. Especially with that permanent guard helping us out, we're not even worried about the final phase being int, right? Okay. Okay, so things are looking good for Bardock here. Also being linked alongside the Ultimate Gohan means that there's never going to be a turn where we have 2 extreme class units with him, so he will always have that additional from the other superclass unit being on rotation, right? So that is kind of one strat that ends up working out a little better than having, like, the Frieza and Texel as our slot 1s, because then we have the transformed Majin Vegetas, which are also extreme class, so there would be multiple rotations where Bardock, you know, wouldn't have those same privileges. Okay. How do we want to do this? We don't want him slot 1. We want him slot 2. I think we are just going to keep prioritizing his offensive power. I don't know, though. Maybe this is the point where it's no longer good, right? Because all of the stuff in his passive from the entrance animation has worn off. Because, yeah, he has the damage reduction for 3 turns from entry, but obviously he's been here for more than 3 turns. Yeah, 5 turns at this point. So he doesn't have the ability to tank, and we've never raised his defense, which means it's really, really low. Yeah, and we're not ready to use the active skill yet, so I think we do need to switch here and use his tag switch form, which does want to be in slot 1, right? He gets additional stuff. As the first attacker, he has guard and then gets the additional super. So yeah, we'll do this. This works out nice. Okay. Oh no. I'm just realizing now that this is going to be pretty bad with the key sphere selection, because either Tech Vegito or Cell has to select all of those tech, or all of those int orbs. One of them is going to have to. Let's go ahead and do it with Vegito. Yeah, we'll do this, and then we can get all of these tech key spheres to get all our HP back with Cell. That's only going to be 4. That's 5, but then only 2 rainbows. I think I'm going to go with 4, and the 3 rainbows is going to be better. Actually, no, because there's a lot of... The super's probably in slot 1. Let's just get more healing out of him. Let's just get the healing. Okay, 29%. I will admit I'm a little bit scared right now. Things could be looking pretty bad in a second. Could be. What's Frieza's active? It's just attack. Okay. We'll save. We might as well save it for the end then. Okay, here's that. Let's see how we do. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit nervous about this turn, to be honest with you. Things could be looking pretty gnarly here in a second. Maybe just because of the sheer amount of attacks in slot 1, we should have put Cell there. But, you know, we are optimizing our defense building with the extra additional attack that we get here. Oh, I mean, we have guard, too. I did forget about that part. Because we got the guard in slot 1 here, I think we're going to be okay no matter what. Let's see. We just have such little HP to work with. It's so nerve-wracking. Okay, yeah, they're fine. Good stuff, good stuff. It was definitely the right idea to tag switch them here, though. I think this could have been a pretty problematic turn. Well, actually, seeing it the way we saw it now, if we didn't tag switch them, left them in slot 2, and then we had Cell slot 1, hindsight being 2020, the super attack was in slot 1, so Cell would have been able to tank it, and then they probably, even without, you know, any defense raises, would have been able to tank a normal post-super, right? So yeah, we probably would have been fine either way, but this works out because then now they have a little bit of defensive power that's going to be built up in preemptively for the final phase of the fight, where they're probably actually going to need it. We might run into some more precarious scenarios where they actually really need the extra defense. Okay. Yeah, it looks like these rotations worked out really, really well for us. This is nice. We're able to get that 18 key with Bardock every single turn so far. We haven't slipped up one single time. Granted, his defense is still looking mighty low, but at least it's as high as it could possibly be, which is really the only thing we can ask for, right? Okay, that's going to qualify Vegeta's full passive, which is nice. Oh, I just realized this Vegeta hasn't transformed yet, has he? We had the other one transform, but not him. That's a bit odd. I can't fully remember what his conditions are. It might be that it's turn restrictions and also HP restrictions, which is why he hasn't transformed, because our HP has been low. Possibly. We'll have to double check that too. Because it is going to kind of be important. He does have type disadvantage on this last phase. So it's going to be a little bit important to make sure that he is transformed to have access to the extra damage reduction and stuff. That could end up being somewhat of a problem. Somewhat. Okay, are we going to finish this off here? I really hope that we do, so that we can use the Vegito transformation the next turn. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait one more turn to do that. Not ideal. Ugh, it's not going to be enough. Okay. So yeah, we do have to wait one more turn for the Vegito transformation, unfortunately. What's the best way? What do we do? Because obviously what we would want to do to maximize the Vegito transformation is this. Because if we put Cell in slot 1, he's going to finish it off and we won't get the stack. We'd want to put them there to get the attack stack, but they probably will get one shot even by a normal in slot 1, I'm thinking. Because they don't have any protection other than that 500k defense. So we would either need to give them one more defense stack, or just completely waste the attack on Cell that doesn't stack or anything. So I think this is going to be the right idea here. Just give them an extra defense stack and call it good. Okay, we'll do that. And then because we're going to finish off the enemy, and we don't have to worry about optimizing everyone, of course, we have no option, because all of those int orbs spawned at the top. That's insane. I was going to say, we're going to avoid selecting same type orbs so that we don't run into a problem here. But we didn't get a choice. Great. So we can at least do this to get a little tiny smidgen of HP back. Perfect. And then they'll go ahead and finish this off for us. And that'll be one more defense raise that's going to be helpful for us if the final phase survives long enough for Tech Vegito to no longer, you know, be out and they have to go back into base. Then the extra defensive power that we've got is going to be really nice for them. Okay, I got nervous there for a second that they weren't going to do enough damage. Cell? Oh, okay, wow. That was no! We did not select any orbs with him. If he gets supered, oh, holy moly, that was so scary. Wowzer. That could have been really bad. Okay, that was almost the end for us. Oh. I'm silly. That was only phase 2. We still have an entire another stage to get through. Okay. Yeah, silly me. Well, no problem. Let's just keep it going then. How do we ensure 6 for Bardock? If we do this, that's going to be 6. Yeah, because I'm worried that if we do this, the purple and greens are going to block in a way that we don't get 6 for Bardock. If we do this, we have to take damage because they're int-type orbs. If we do this, that's... Oh, this will also open up 6. Wait, yeah, this is the best way. Best way. There we go. And then we do no type disadvantage for the entire turn. Who do we got coming up next? Okay. I think we'll do this then. Yeah. Because the AGL orbs are going to transform into tech. And then we're also going to get a rainbow orb change. We should be fine here. The only thing I'm worried about is we're on turn 9 now, so Golden Frieza's damage reduction has gone down a bit, quite considerably. It's dropped like 4 times, so we're probably only at like 50% DR now. I mean, we are going to be post-super, and we're getting 18 keys, so we've got the most amount of defensive power for the turn that we can with him. But I'm just worried because our HP is so low that we might actually die from a super here. We'll have to wait and see, though. Only time will tell. We've got 200k to work with. Hopefully that'll be enough. Oh, it looks like with prioritizing the stackers and stuff this run, we are moving slow enough that we're going to be launching Dokkan attack here on this phase. We're not going to be able to salvage that and save it for the last phase like we tried to last time, right? Unfortunate, unfortunate. Okay, well, there we go. We finally get the other transformation for Majin Vegeta, which is nice. Not nice that we have them both on the same turn. Oh, it's not... That's the Tech Vegito. I'm silly. I'm silly. Okay. Do we then continue keeping him slot 1, or do we switch back? I think because he has type advantage now, we'll be okay to switch back, right? So yeah, we'll just do all this for Cell. That's really good. 4 rainbow orbs. He'll be perfectly safe there. And then, can we get some more tech orbs, please? We need that healing. Yeah, defense-wise, makes sense to do this for him. Okay, we're almost there. It looks like we might have been able to avoid the Dokkan attack for 1 more turn, but it doesn't matter, because we were never going to KO the enemy here, and we still would have to use it on this phase, so we might as well use it now. It's not going to make really a difference for us. And then, yeah, we'll get a little bit more healing there, just to make sure we're safe for this turn. We did only get the 5 orbs, so he doesn't have the guard, and that little bit of additional attack and defense. But I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think because of having the type advantage, he doesn't really need the guard, and then he still has the 66% DR, so we'll be fine. And he is all the way at the end there, so hopefully the super attack for the turn will have been launched before then. He won't even have to worry about it. Would be nice. I guess I'm still technically a little bit nervous about that middle slot. If we do have a super attack launch there, that could be a problem. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. But I just would really like to, while it feels a little less dangerous to do so, try and get as many attack stacks as we can for this Vegito. I think that will just service us well in that last phase. That last phase is going to be mighty difficult with how much tech power we've got on the team, right? And the fact that we're going to need to get 6 orbs for the Tech Majin Vegetas to give them their guard. If there's ever an opportunity, like ever a time that doesn't happen, that's probably going to be pretty bad. And I imagine if they didn't have the guard up and they did get hit by a super, they would be KO'd, like almost guaranteed. So, just to avoid that happening and having less turns of having to get the 6 key spheres, getting a stronger Tech Vegito out will be nice. Okay, cool. We gambled correctly. We made the correct predictions. We are safe here. Okay, do we just go Bardock slot 1? There was no reason why not, right? There's no slot restrictions for him. Yeah. Okay, let's just go slot 1 then with him, so we can get all these AGL orbs. Sure. Do that, and then we can grab these with Tech Gohan. Or no, let's grab these, so we can prioritize leaving those Tech orbs for next turn. And then we can grab the... Actually, should we do this? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, it looks like Bardock is going to be peaking close to 1,000,000 defense, which is nice. That definitely helps a bit. Makes me feel a little bit less nervous about going into this final phase. But yeah, Tech Ultimate Gohan definitely stacked aptly. He was one of those main stacking units I had in mind for this burst mode run, right? And it looks like he is going to be performing properly. So that is definitely good stuff. And that's one of those things with the trade-off, right? Because we talked about this at the very beginning when we were selecting all the parameters, that there was those massive pools of HP we could have added to this for minuscule additional points. Had we done that, that would have been, honestly a help. Because, I mean, I guess we have, like, the AGL Golden Frieza really falls off at a certain point, but he's kind of already at that point. So whether we get to turn 15 at the end or we're at turn 25, Golden Frieza is going to be facing off with, against that ending phase with his being in his weakest form no matter what. I guess it will be more turns of that, but also as a trade-off, all of our stackers are going to be able to stack way more on each of these phases before we move on because there's so much more HP to get through. So yeah, it might end up just kind of equaling out. Alright. Well, we are finally here. So now, the name of the game is... When do we do the Vegito turn? Right? Like, do we just do it now? Or... I mean, okay, here's the thing. Now that we have type disadvantage again... if we're going to keep him in base, would need him in the defensive mode, which is not going to make Vegito more powerful, so there really is no point in waiting. Realistically, the only reason we would want to wait is to continue to stack the attack so that he hits even harder once we do the transformation. But, as we just established, we're not going to be able to leave him in attack form anymore. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and launch it. Throw that out. Okay. And then... Yep. Use the full active here. Okay, let's see how much damage we're doing. That's a decent sign. That's a decent sign. If that had been, like, less than a quarter of the bar or something, I'd be worried right now. But I think that's enough. I think we're fine. Let's see. That's not going to be enough for the 24. I guess we're going to have to... Well, it doesn't really matter about Texel this turn, I guess. Doesn't matter too much, because he's not going to be receiving any attacks, right? So defensively, we don't have to worry about him. I just want to make sure... Okay, yeah, we'll grab these. And then I think maybe just this red orb. Yeah, perfect. That way we have enough for Tech Ultimate Gohan, and then we have all those yellows for Bardock to be able to get his 18 again. Okay. It's nice that all of the attacks are after we're supering, so we're going to be able to build up our attack power quite a bit here before dealing all these counters. So that's going to be pretty nice. I'm very curious to see how much damage we get him down to by the end of the turn. Because, I mean, obviously, it's already apparent that it's not going to be like a one-shot or anything, but these counters do hit quite hard, so you definitely can't underestimate them. Okay, dodging the attacks definitely hurts. You still get the counter, but we're not going to get that 10% attack raise that we would get, and then 10% chance to crit. And then, obviously, the super, same deal. I don't even want to dodge the super. I want to get hit by it so that we can get 10% attack. Because he won't counter no matter what, but there we go. At least getting hit by it, he'll get the attack raise. So that'll be helpful. Right, we've got, what, 3 more counters to dish? 1. And 2. Okay. And then we'll have 1 more at the tail end after Frieza's finished attacking. Which, Frieza, now that he is, not a slot 1 anymore, he does have more stuff in his kit that gives him a lot of attack power when he's being rotated off like this. So he is providing quite a bit of, packing quite a bit of punch at this point, which is nice. I love the design of the EZA for his kit, right? Because he does have that reducing damage reduction, and it kind of used to be like you just want to use him on weaker events, because he would you know, be really, or not weaker, but shorter events, because he would be really strong at the very beginning of it. And then once he was, you know, his damage reduction rolled off, he was just useless in the fight. But now at least he has a decent amount of defense in slot 3, and he provides some good damage too. So definitely a nice upgrade. Okay, considering this is the last turn that we're going to have this rotation around, this might be the last turn of the fight, or he might survive one more turn and then Vegeta will finish things up for us next turn. So with that being considered, we might as well launch our actives. Get that going. Though I don't even know if we want the Gohan active to be launched, because that's just going to transform him. I think I kind of want him in base. I'd rather just have him in base. Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. So we'll grab these. And then I guess we can get all of this with Bardock. We might as well. We might as well. Give him closer to a 24 key. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage here. Okay, and then that's like all the orbs selected. We do have an orb changer coming up next, though. Tech Cell will help rectify the board a little for us, so that'll be nice. Alright, well, seeing that, we're going to need quite a miracle in order to KO on this turn, so probably not. But we do still have the transformed Vegeta, so as long as we put him slot 1, he's definitely going to be able to tank, and then between his super attacks and the counters that he gets in slot 1, we should be perfectly safe to finish this thing off, right? With, like, only him, and not have to worry about any other attackers or anything. Worst case scenario, we'll get to Tech Cell, and then we'll just make sure to try to prioritize picking up a good amount of orbs with Tech Cell so that he is at least safe. You know, or able to deal a little bit extra damage if need be. Because we won't have the target skill up. That's the only thing, is that every unit is going to be individually responsible for their defensive values, instead of being protected like they were last time, right? So that's the only thing that really could come back to bite us. But yeah, given how low the HP bar is at this point, like, I'm pretty sure he's mathematically eliminated from KOing us. Oh my goodness, we almost even just did it this turn. That was pretty decent. Okay, there we go. And then we've got Vegito, not even any slot 0 counters or anything to deal with. Just straight up gonna KO right here. I mean, actually, with only a 7 million super attack, maybe it'll take a couple. Maybe it won't be just the one super attack. Yeah, in fact, he might actually get a counter off, which could be interesting. But either way, we've definitely gotten the 7,000 point clear here. So yeah, seeing the way this team build operated, I would say this is definitely possible. With a higher score than just 7,000, right? Definitely. 7,000 as a baseline is decent, but I think we could probably max this out. Maybe not fully max, because, I mean, I guess we had how much HP? We had 2,000%, but we could put that all the way up to 5,000% HP. This would take so much longer if we did that, right? But definitely, like, yeah, see, I don't know that we would want to adjust the parameters at all to like, add more attack. Because he's got the little challenge ones right here where you can add 100% attack, but it looked like we were about at the limits of what we could handle attack-wise, especially in, like, the first half of the fight while our stackers are still getting there. So I don't know that we could add much. Maybe we could do, like, one of them for an additional 10 points, but I don't think it would be as free and easy as, like, oh yeah, we'll add all these. I think if we were to add all of these, we would just die in the first phase, no matter what. We would be toast. So yeah, the only other things that we could add, really, would just be that extra HP. And then, same deal, we have these challenge spots, but it's, again, so much more HP that I don't know it would be worthwhile. So yeah, there we go. Maybe I will try another run. I'm probably not going to do it right now, but maybe I'll try another run to get the 760. Or maybe I'll do 770, I think is what I would attempt. I don't know, though. 5,000 is so much. 5,000 is so much. Yeah, I'll keep contemplating it, and maybe we'll come back for more. But for now, there we go. That was our 7,000 point clear for this burst mode. Definitely doable. So thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for this one, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.